Hello, my name is John Rose, and in this video I'd like to take a closer look at the best way to fight a cold and the best way to fight the flu. And there's really only one way to fight a cold and a flu initially, and that's with a solid food vacation. And for most of us that means we need knowledge. We need to have knowledge of why we have the cold and the flu and knowledge of the best way to deal with it and become cold proof, flu proof, and we can. I have not had a cold or a flu in over 30 years, and you too can be that way if you understand what causes it. So you can go to one of my videos I did before. I have it down in my description box. It's in almost every one of my videos. I always reference to that video. Healing Secrets Revealed. I explain how there's two short-term self-limited diseases, and that's what a cold is. So this is where all therapies reign. All therapies get success treating colds because they're all eventually going to go away if it doesn't kill you. But what's really killing us in most cases are not even the flus. If you look at the CDC statistics on 36,000 people dying every year, now this is an old story, so I don't know what they've been saying lately. I think they're still saying the same thing because they've been repeating that number every year. But when you go back and look at it, which I had done in 2 years, and there was a total of like 1,200 total, 360 in one and 900 in the other, of deaths that were actually supposedly due to the flu, which actually was pneumonia. And when you hear people dying of pneumonia, it isn't the pneumonia, it's the drugs that they give to people, and it's the food they keep feeding them. Why? Because what's the solution to a cold or a flu or even pneumonia? It's a solid food vacation. Dr. John Tilden never lost one pneumonia patient, and was noted as having more patients than any doctor in history. And he knew what to do because the body was using the lungs as an alternative channel of elimination, which is why we have colds and flus. That's all it is. I explained that in that video, Healing Secrets Revealed. Now, Dr. Tilden didn't lose one patient because he knew immediately to stop feeding them. So when you get pneumonia, you run to the doctor and they say, oh, it's bacterial, it's viral pneumonia. All they're doing is looking at the consequences of the disease. Sure, that the part of the virus is just the dead genetic debris that comes from the cells dying. The bacteria are part of the cleanup crew. You don't blame vultures for an animal being dead. You don't blame the mosquitoes for the water being stagnant. You don't blame the flies for having garbage. You don't blame the skid marks for the car accidents. Those are the consequences. So when they identify the evil germ, they don't know what's going on. Doctors are clueless. So watch, medicine is the ultimate tool of control that ties into this, and I also explain how what a cold is. So we need knowledge. We need to know what the cold is all about, and this secret has to be hidden and kept. It's one of the most important secrets that the people who rule the world keep, because if we ever wake up and realize that we're basically eating our colds instead, because that's what ultimately makes our lymph system go above the saturation level, then if we understood that we're eating that problem, we're eating almost every other problem, and that is it. In fact, that's how sin came into this planet, which is a mistake. Through our mouths, through eating. That's what fasting is all about. Fasting literally means to cover the mouth. Our problems came in through our mouths, through our eating. That's why the best way to fight a cold, and the best way to prevent a cold, and the best way to never have one is to have the right knowledge of how to eat. The problem here is it's really difficult for the average person to say, okay, I've been eating this way, now I should eat this way. I don't think so. Doesn't look like a fair trade to me. I like this. I'm doing it for a reason. Well, that's why the solid food vacation becomes extremely important. So I hope you found this video because you have a cold and you're looking for a solution, and you haven't seen any of my other videos, because what I've got to offer here, my friend, is not just a solution for the colds and the flus and the pneumonia, but virtually every disease that's due to our lymph system backing up into the body, or that's also attributed to eating the wrong foods, or not satisfying our needs. That's how complicated life is. All we have to do to solve the vast majority of our problems is to satisfy all of our needs. And there's two groups of needs now. Unfortunately, most of us aren't willing and able to do that. We don't know about them. And if we do find out, what did I say a moment ago? I don't want to do that. It's not a fair trade, right? So what's the solution? A solid food vacation. Take back control over the one thing that's controlling you. Your taste buds, man. And when you take back control over your taste buds, guess what happens to your five senses? They gain a buddy. Our sixth sense, our spidey sense. Show me the science, John. Oh, stop eating your food. You cook food, you fool. Experience it yourself. Yeah, I can be downright ornery with some of you guys, can't I? Why do I do it? To try to rattle your cage. I always try the nice guy approach wherever I go, initially with everybody. But people I've known for a long time, I'll, out of desperation, rattle their cage. I do it quite frequently on my channel. And that's because I care. That's because I bumped up my biophoton levels, and it's just not the same without you guys up here with me. I've gone where few have gone. I've risen myself above the ideas of the time. I'm not gliding with the stream anymore. And I've got directions. I got a map. I know how to get out of Plato's cave. I've got a map for that. I got a map to take us back to the garden, so to speak, which is it's paradise, right? Now, it's not a magical place that we've been told. Paradise is simply a place where we don't have problems that are 100% within our control. What most of us don't know is that the vast majority of our problems are 100% within our control, the colds and the flus. But John, the germ came in. Yes, there are times when some germs, some microbes can be cofactors to the equation. But they're a cofactor, they're never a single factor. Because it's always the condition of our body that determines everything. That's why on his deathbed, Louis Pasteur admitted, the microbe is nothing, the terrain is everything. It's the condition of your lymph system that depends on whether you get sick. If it goes above a saturation point, it's got to back up. It goes to the nose and sinuses, into the lungs, into the skin, into the tissues. Then we have those 4 stages of long disease, 4 long-term stages of disease. And I go into that in that video. It's that simple. All we have to do is satisfy those needs, make sure the lymph system is clean, and the point here is, let's say we have a crapometer inside the lymph system that can measure the amount of particles, and let's say it can only handle so many particles, and if there's too many particles and there's too much pressure in there compared to outside, so it goes back out to outside. See, everything's based on ionic pressure. So the lymph system can only handle so much garbage. It's our bathroom in our body. Remember, the body does but a bunch of cells and then 2 fluids. The blood is the kitchen, brings in the food. The lymph system is the bathroom. It gets rid of the waste. Our lymph system is getting plugged up, and that's what the disease process is. It backs up into the system. It's not complicated, but the key here and the point I'm trying to make is, if we had a crapometer for the lymph system and the saturation level was at 100, then what does that mean? Well, we could be at 90, and something could come along that adds 20 more. Oh my God, 20 and 90 is 110. Anything over 100, it's like a steam safety valve in an engine that has to leave off pressure. Remember, you blow too much air in the balloon, it pops out, it has to go out to the other side, and that's what happens with most of our diseases. That's what a cold and the flu is. The lymph system backing up, and in its wisdom it says, let me go out the nose and sinuses. That's a way to exit the body. Then it goes into the lungs. That's pneumonia. Disease is complicated to people who don't study the lymph system. So once again, our body's nothing but a bunch of cells, 2 fluids. Our so-called specialists are misdirected by so-called experts. All they do is they study the cells, but then they don't study the concept of totality. So if they're looking at eye cells, they don't look at the colon cells or the kidney cells or the adrenals. But most importantly, they don't look at the bathroom. They don't look at the lymph system. In the same way, our so-called experts aren't taught in nutrition to look at the elimination system. So there's consumption, absorption, elimination. Isn't it interesting? Nutritionists aren't taught the elimination stage, and then the doctors aren't taught the lymph system or the bathroom. On purpose. Why? Because we're full of shit. Literally, my friends. Literally. And you can prove this by going on a solid food vacation. Once you do a solid food vacation, within about a week, you'll go, hey, still have crap coming out here. No wonder we were trying to get the crap out here. It's common sense. Keep going, and guess what? You keep pooping. It took me 3 months to stop pooping. I had a 20-pound cesspool in me at a time in my life when I had 9 pounds of fat. You don't think that didn't catch my attention? Didn't think I had any weight to lose, but I knew my belly wasn't as skinny as it should have been. I always wondered why my abs weren't symmetrical, but I looked around and it was pretty common. Well, there must be something down there. See all these bodybuilders with their muscles all contorted in their abdominal area? Those cesspools. It's Beelzebub. It's the serpent that lives within us. And when you do a solid food vacation, you're going to get rid of that evil thing that affects you in ways you don't understand until you get rid of it. I'm always amazed that we're still as loving and giving and caring as we are. It goes to show you how much potential we have. That's what really drives me crazy. When I see how well we do with this crap inside of us, and then not having our 6th sense, I'm amazed that we can do what we do. But then again, I understand why we live in hell still. Why these are still the dark ages. Why we still have war and there's people suffering, and we're pouring battery acid just about inside babies and children in the name of health. Now, I did a video yesterday that's still uploading. You guys are in for a treat. It's a really long video. It's almost an hour and a half long. I finally showed some of my files. There's a good chance I'll have this uploaded onto the YouTube before the other one comes through. When I left, it was only like at a third the way through, and I finally was able to upload it at 5 o'clock this morning. It took a while to save it inside my system. Boy, I need a better system for editing, because that was ridiculous to take so long just to combine a couple tapes. Anyway, in that video I go into more detail about some of my files, but most importantly the Ultimate Schematic. So it's a major Ultimate Schematic update. I have a newer version that has the piece numbers easier recognizable. I go through every one of them, and guess what? I actually show you the 120 pieces and the pieces within pieces. You can check it out and get your own list. You know, screen save those babies, and hopefully I'll get my website up and running. I still haven't even got back with several people who've emailed me. I haven't even read their emails yet. I just know who they are and what they do, and I really apologize. I'm not avoiding anybody. It's that I know what you're going to ask me, and I don't have any answers for you yet. I really don't know how I want to design anything right now. So any input on how you guys think the best way for me to present this would be much appreciated. The simplest way so I can control it, I want to make this as easy, as user-friendly as I can, and I'm not dense when it comes to using this stuff. When I mean user-friendly, I mean, you know, just real simple cut and paste, and there it is, boom, don't have to make any adjustments. Have to update a file, no problem, just like it's an external hard drive. That's what I want my website to be. But anyway, I'm digressing somewhat. We're supposed to be talking about how to fight colds and flus. You have to have the knowledge. You have to take a solid food vacation. You can do a water fast or a juice fast. Stop eating. That's why you have the problems. The cold will go away anyway, but if you get tired of having those happen all the time, we've got to stop and think. Haven't seen recent statistics in a while, but 2 decades ago, the average was 5 colds a year. I'm not getting any, so some of y'all are getting a bunch of them. That means your lymph system is going over the saturation point, and when that's happening, waste is then going into your tissues, and now you're going to have those 4 long-term stages of disease that are going to ruin the quality of your life. If y'all don't understand why I get passionate and yell, you don't understand that virtually all the pain that most of us are going through is preventable. Think about what I'm saying. Think about what I'm saying. Arthritis, how many people do you know that are in agony right now? And if they just went on a solid food vacation, what would happen to them? So what does that mean for you? It means give me a thumbs up if you like this message. It means subscribe to my channel if you haven't, or if you've unsubscribed for whatever stupid reason, get back on, because it's not about me, it's about the message. Come on now. People are hurting and suffering, and we're connected to that, and it affects us in ways we don't know, just like that serpent inside us connects us in ways that we don't know. So once again, my friends, the best way to deal with a cold and a flu or any other problem, you guys take a solid food vacation. Why? Because when you do it, you're in for a treat.